Today I'm going to be taking a look at Talespin from Dynamite, written by Amanda Dybert and art by Carlo Loro, with the main cover being done by Cat Staggs, with the variant cover on my copy being done by Carlo Loro. Of the Disney Afternoon comics that I've read from Dynamite, the quality has been hit and miss. There are some pretty high highs and some pretty low lows, and some of them that are kind of just okay. So we'll see how Tailspin fares. And there's a lot writing on this, especially for Amanda Dybert, considering her run on Darkwing is definitely the low point of the Disney Afternoon comics from Dynamite so far. So we'll see if she can bounce back. Carlo Loro was able to. Tailspin doesn't seem to get the love that Darkwing, DuckTales, and Gargoyles do when it comes to merchandising, and as well as also there are a lot less Tailspin comics out there. So we'll see how this series does. We open up at the docks at Hire for Hire as we see Kit Cloudkicker racing to try to find Baloo. We also see that the title for this issue is called On a Wing and a Bear, which is also the name of an episode of the original series, where we see that Kit finds Baloo and we get a bit of a slapstick routine as Baloo falls out of his hammock. This also allows us to get a good look at the art, where the art style is similar to the original show, but has been slightly modified for a more simplified artist interpretation of the show's art style. The new art style is mostly apparent when the characters have to make big expressions with their eyes and mouth, but it still does look good, where Baloo and Kit make their way to the Sea Duck to head out to pick up their customer, who is an elderly female bear named Sky Rider, who Kit is disappointed that she doesn't have any kids because he wanted some people his age to hang around with. Though we do get a bit of a hint that Miss Rider has a bit of a exciting past, which will be important later on. As they're flying back to Cape Suzette, makes a few observations, which at first Baloo thinks that she's talking about the Sea Duck, but in actuality, she's talking about the Iron Vulture, which is the airship of legendary sky pirate Don Carnage and his crew. The Iron Vulture shoots hooks out that grab onto the Sea Duck. Although Baloo tries some fancy flying, he's unable to break free, which is when Miss Rider ends up jumping onto the top of the plane, which completely shocks Baloo and Kit. Once Miss Rider's on top of the plane, she ends up doing some fancy flips and twirls to unhook the Sea Duck, which completely shocks Don Carnage in one of the only 2 lines of dialogue that he gets, which is unfortunate because Don Carnage is known for his way with words. With Baloo and Miss Rider working together, she's able to use the last hook to throw back at the Iron Vulture and force it to do a emergency landing. And having safely returned to Hire for Hire, encountering Rebecca Cunningham and her daughter Molly. And at first, Miss Cunningham flips out at Baloo because she thinks that Baloo screwed up, like how he usually does. But Miss Rider is able to explain what happened. This is also where we find out that the reason why Sky Rider is able to do all those fancy tricks on the plane, when she was younger, she was a award-winning wing walker, that she would do acrobatic routines on top of planes in flight. The reason she contacted Hire for Hire in the first place was that she was moving out of the city because it had become too dangerous. Wing Walker trophy had been stolen. Where the comic comes to an end on a little bit of a downer as Miss Cunningham reveals that if they don't get more clients soon, she's going to have to ground the Sea Duck, since it's just too expensive to maintain. Which is a dagger to Baloo because he wouldn't be who he is without the Sea Duck. And now time for my thoughts on the issue as a whole. I would say that it's a pretty enjoyable issue that is miles better than Amanda Dybert and Carlo Loro's first Disney Afternoon collaboration, Darkwing Duck. The art is way better. The story actually has a clear beginning and middle and end. There is some well-drawn action. The character designs are modernized to be easier to draw, but do not deviate too far from the original source material. As for my criticisms, it would be that we do not get enough of character specific dialogue. Like, for example, Baloo referring to Kit as Lil Britches, or Kit referring to Baloo as Papa Bear, like they did in the original show. As well as also having Don Carnage, but not have him make a big, very showy entrance like he would in the original show. A character who's known for his specific way of talking, only get him 2 lines that anyone could have said. Massive missed opportunity. As well as also, Molly should have made a reference to Danger Woman, which is her favorite radio show that she often quotes as well as also dresses as. While the art is fairly solid throughout, there are a couple panels where characters look kind of strange because of the perspective. All in all, though, I did enjoy this comic. I think it is a good start, and I am looking forward to seeing other Tailspin characters like Wildcat and Louie and Shere Khan and some of the other recurring characters from the original show be brought back in this comic. Aside from sharing a name of an episode from the original show, the comic also reminded me of Captain's Outrageous or Whistle Stop Jackson Legend, which have similar premises. I recommend this issue, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Till next time, see ya.